This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into today's episode of Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Friday, October 21st, 2022, and we're so glad you could join us for today's show. On today's episode, I will speak with Michael Michener, who is with the USAID group out of Washington, D.C., and he's going to tell us about how farmers can navigate some very difficult world events that take place from time to time. We will also have a check of the ag weather outlook, but first, let's take a look at the closing numbers.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined now by Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Tyler, what did we see today in the grain markets?
Another day of a lot of volatility. Woke up this morning, looked like the dollar was going to trade higher. The macro markets, your stock indices, equity markets were going to trade lower. Grain started out, on corn, we were down a nickel. Soybeans, we were down 15 cents. Wheat, at one point, we were down about 20 cents. And midway through the morning, got some chatter out of the Federal Reserve or some rumors that there's possible talk of them kind of starting to slow down the interest rate hikes after this next month's meeting. So the market really is kind of expecting, another 0.75 point rate hike in the next Fed meeting, but some possible slowing down of that hiking of rates. And that just kind of sent everything on its head. At one point this morning, if you would have called and asked why grain was down, I would have told you it was because the dollar was up and your macro markets were down. And if you'd called me 2 hours later, I'd have given you the exact opposite story. We ended up corn virtually unchanged. December corn up about 1/4 cent, closed at 6.84 1/4. November soybeans ended up 4 cents, and your wheat markets pretty much closed the day unchanged.
Tyler, when we keep talking about the Mississippi River situation and those very low water levels, what are you kind of thinking about when it comes to the future and whether or not we get any rain and just trying to diagnose that entire situation?
Well, this might be one of those cases where rain is actually bullish to the grain markets now. It's obviously not going to do anything to help the crop in the field or the next year's crop, but any rain we can get to help replenish that river will add a little bit of optimism to our ability to get grain pushed down to the ports in the Gulf at a much cheaper rate. So, I could see rain in the forecast. They're talking some decent rains in the Central Plains. They need it really, really bad. Hopefully that can come to fruition. Some of that water makes its way into some of the rivers, Arkansas River, and flows into the Mississippi River. That will help. Until we see some significant rainfall, we're going to see transportation bottlenecks. The market's going to find its way around it. And, surprisingly, among all of this, basis values in a lot of parts of the country have been strong on corn and soybeans. Now, there are pockets where it's not as strong, but basis has remained strong. And so I really think, though, if we can get some rain, if we can replenish that river system, get barges moving freer, that will be positive to our overall markets, because we'll be able to get the grain to the ports cheaper, which might help bolster export sales.
What were your takeaways from the livestock side of the markets today?
Livestock all week have been kind of performing well. I like to see it's been kind of an orderly move up. Fat cattle have been a pretty strong mover. Feeder cattle have been just kind of slowly churning and chugging higher. It did kind of change on the day as corn was down, a nickel early in the day. The fats and the feeders were quite a bit stronger as corn kind of came back to unchanged. They gave up some of that strength. But again, I think you're starting to see the realization that we're going to run into that shortage of cattle available to kill sooner rather than later now. And I think I mentioned it yesterday. It's kind of, we're at that position. We've been looking for this spot for almost a year now where the feeder had the leverage in the negotiation with the packers. And it starts to feel like that's coming to fruition. The feeders have the ability to pass on some bids from the packers, and the packers, they're making good money. So they're going to go find what they can get. On the hog side, another strong day for December hogs. Virtually got back all of that loss. The last couple weeks in September, we gave up about $13 on December hogs, and we got it all back, and actually then some today. We're pushing on some of those highs in December hogs that we set back in August. So hogs performing well. All the livestock performed well today. It was a good way to end out the week.
He is Tyler Schau from agmarket.net. Tyler, if our viewers and listeners want to get in touch, how can they do so with agmarket.net?
Go to our website, agmarket.net. Sign up for our Ag Market Intel. We publish a ton of intel. You can check out our Contact Us page, check out brokers in your area. If you want to get in touch with me, give me a call at 701-987-6009.
Thank you for the analysis as always, Tyler. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
December corn is up a quarter at $6.84 and a quarter. November soybeans up 4 cents, even at $13.95 and a half. Soybean meal for January is up $3.50 at $4.10.30. Soybean oil for January up $1.03 at $68.97. Chicago wheat up 1.5 at $8.50 3/4. Minneapolis wheat is down 1 even at $9.61 1/2. Kansas wheat is down 1.5 at $9.48 1/4. March oats unchanged at $3.82 1/2. On the Merc, live cattle for December up 75 cents at $152.42. October feeder cattle down 30 cents at $175.27. Lean hogs for December up $2.10 at $89.12. Pork cutouts for December up $1.12 at 98 even. And Class 3 milk for October up 1 cent at $21.84.
That was our Ag Market Recap. We're going to take a short break now and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, I will speak with Michael Michener at the Borlaug Dialogue in Des Moines. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Yesterday, I had the chance to head to downtown Des Moines for the Borlaug Dialogue, and I visited with Michael Michener. He is with USAID, and we talked about how catastrophic world events can affect farmers all over the globe. That's coming up next. Here's what Michael had to say.
Mark Magnuson with the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm joined by Mike Michener, who is with USAID. It's a little bit easier to say it that way sometimes. It just sounds like you're saying USAID, USA. It can be a little bit confusing, but Mike, could you tell us, please, what your job title is with USAID?
Hi, Mark. Good to be with you. My job title is Deputy Assistant Administrator in the Bureau for Resilience and Food Security. So that is the part of the agency that does long-term development, and we do long-term development in agriculture, nutrition, water, and resilience.
And Mike, just at some of the panel talks today, that's kind of been one of the themes. It's that not necessarily just about the response to maybe a catastrophic event or a tough situation, but trying to build up the infrastructure and have that roadmap for laying things out ahead of time so you don't have to necessarily respond as often or as big of a way.
Exactly. A big part of what our agency has done since its founding in 1961 is emergency response. But if you do long-term development and you build the resilience of communities, sometimes they weather these shocks better and you don't have to respond with so much humanitarian assistance. Unfortunately, as we've seen, the shocks have been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we still have to do that humanitarian work, but the more we do the underlying long-term development, that may be less humanitarian response we have to do in the future.
Mike, over the past several months, we've been talking about all the volatility in the grain markets, the livestock markets, just the different things that are happening around the world that are causing kind of those ups and downs. Is it a more tumultuous time than usual, or does it just feel that way right now?
No, it is a more tumultuous time than usual, for sure. And a large proportion of the blame goes to Putin's unjustified invasion of Ukraine. Look, oil prices were going up, fertilizer prices were going up before the invasion. But that would have been kind of a normal shock in the market. What Putin's invasion did is put those fuel price increases on steroids, which in turn increased fertilizer prices, and then he shut off the flow of grain from the Black Sea, from those Ukrainian ports in the Black Sea. That put grain prices up. Higher fuel, food, and fertilizer prices has impacted the world globally, and it's hitting Iowa farmers right here as well.
And that was going to be my next point. What should be the takeaway then for Iowa farmers here in the Midwest? Maybe is it that they, in the past, might have thought that they could overlook a situation like that or is kind of out of sight, out of mind, but the reality is it does affect them, things that happen on the other side of the world?
Absolutely, it does affect them. Look, right now, increasing commodity prices, that may help Iowa farmers for now, but if a country like Russia can go into Ukraine and invade them, annex their territory, close off their markets, that upsets the global rules-based system of agricultural trade. What if they do that in a place where Iowa sells its corn and its beans and its livestock? Then that's going to hurt Iowa farmers. So we have to preserve that global rules-based trading system, and we have to preserve the nation-state sovereignty where one nation can't just go into another and take over.
Talking back about what we had started with, building up infrastructure and trying to get countries into a better spot going forward, where is the area right now where Iowa farmers can really help? Because we know Iowa farmers are invested in getting their grain not only to other states in the country, but outside the U.S.
So what I would say to Iowa farmers, particularly in the situation in Ukraine, is if they can volunteer or help in some way to assist Ukrainian farmers, that would be fantastic. We've started a program to help Ukrainian farmers called Agri-Ukraine. That's Agricultural Resilience Initiative Ukraine, and that has 4 key components. We're trying to get inputs available to Ukrainian farmers. It's difficult to get inputs to them right now. We're trying to increase the infrastructure for exports, trying to get Ukrainian grain out. We've been very successful in that. We've almost got the grain export levels back up to pre-war levels. We're also helping them get access to finance and credit. Right now, for those farmers that haven't been able to get their grain exported, they don't have capital, so they need to borrow so they can plant for next season. And the 4th element is also helping Ukrainians with storage needs, processing, and drying. So if Iowa farmers, through their local organizations, charitable organizations, through the Farm Bureau, through whatever method they want, if they can advocate for helping Ukrainian farmers, that in the long term is going to help them too.
Now, I know you mentioned that Iowa farmers can do a lot outside of the borders of the United States, but when we think about taking lessons from a situation like this, is it just that, yes, farming is very hard, but you have to be able to respond to maybe a catastrophic incident, whether it's man-made or if it's nature-made?
Yeah, absolutely. Iowa farmers have a long history of helping internationally. Going back to the Iowa hog lift to Japan in the 1950s, Iowa farmers have a long history of helping in catastrophic situations. And farming, we all know it's risky, it's dangerous, it comes with ups and downs. But to have a brutal situation imposed on Ukrainian farmers the way it was, those are circumstances beyond their control and circumstances beyond their ability to respond. And that's why the U.S. government is in there trying to help.
Where are some other areas of the world right now where USAID is heavily involved apart from Ukraine?
Well, I'm glad you asked. There's the U.S. government's Feed the Future initiative. It's led by USAID, but involves 11 U.S. government agencies, including USDA, State Department. We've recently expanded that program from 12 countries to 20, and we're really investing more resources now across the globe. In response to the invasion, Congress allocated $760 million in extra assistance for long-term agricultural development, and we've programmed those funds across 50 countries. So we're really focusing on sub-Saharan Africa, in Asia and Latin America, and trying to provide extra assistance for these countries.
And are things going well in those areas, Mike, as far as what you've seen?
Well, it's a tough time right now. I mean, you've got one of the worst droughts on history in the Horn of Africa. You've got really increasing fertilizer and food prices everywhere. Times are tough, so it's not a sunny picture, but we're in there, and I think our assistance is making a difference.
So what needs to happen next for an organization like USAID? Where are you guys looking at for the future?
Well, I think if you saw the administrator's remarks yesterday, we're looking at the future of agricultural development in what we grow, how we grow it, and who benefits from it. So I think we're shifting. USAID actually coined the term Green Revolution in 1968. The third administrator of USAID, William S. Goud, gave a speech where he coined the term Green Revolution, comparing it to the Soviet Red Revolution. So USAID has kind of owned the Green Revolution since then. And we think it's time to think about what comes next. The Green Revolution is evolving to something new, and that's what the administrator was talking about yesterday. What we grow, biotech, gene-edited crops, how we grow it, better practices and processes that align with climate-smart agriculture, and who benefits from it, really focusing on gender inequities in agriculture.
And then just to wrap things up on that point, is it true then that almost across the board, the money that you put into research and development and then building up this infrastructure is going to pay you back, multiple times over on the back end of that?
Tenfold, actually. We've actually looked into this. Research pays us back enormously. You invest in these innovations, and you create a pipeline of innovations, and you get these innovations scaled and into the hands of smallholder farmers. That's less development assistance and less humanitarian aid that you spend in the future.
Mike, is there anything else you'd like to let our viewers and listeners know about when it comes to the work that USAID is doing right now across the world?
We're just very proud and pleased and privileged to be working on behalf of the American people. And as an Iowan, I love coming back home to the World Food Prize every year and seeing my home state really shine on the global stage.
He's Mike Michener. Mike, thank you so much for the time, and have a great rest of your time here in Des Moines.
Thanks, Mark.
That was Michael Michener with USAID. He is a Deputy Assistant Director. And now it's time for the Ag Weather Outlook. We've been slowly warming up as the week has gone along here in Des Moines and central Iowa, and today it feels like we've reached an even warmer point. We are now into the 70s, maybe even going to hit the low 80s for portions of the state within the next couple of days. That warming trend will continue tomorrow, and in our overnight hours as well, we are not dipping down as cold as we have been recently. So what does that warming trend look like for tomorrow? Let's turn our attention now to the National Weather Service and what the Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours.
As you can see here from the National Weather Service, we have a much warmer weather trend across the state today. Mostly sunny with above average temperatures. Temps range from the mid-70s to about 80. Tonight, warmer than recent evenings. Mostly clear skies. Lows overnight should range from the low 40s to mid-50s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and unseasonably warm. Highs will be in the upper 70s to low 80s. Looking at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, when we are going to warm up quite a bit, it's almost going to feel like a summer day. Cherokee will see sunny skies and a high of 80. Shenandoah, mostly sunny and a high around 80. Des Moines, sunny, even a little bit warmer, a high of 81. Albia, mostly sunny and also 81. Waterloo will look to be sunny with a high of 80. And Clinton, also sunny skies with a high of 79.
For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, make sure you head to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that brings us to the end of our Ag Weather Outlook. And that also brings us to the end of another episode of Ag Matters PM. A reminder that you can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also, don't forget to head to our YouTube channel for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. There you can find all of our past episodes of AMPM, and make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. That will let you know whenever we upload any new video content to our YouTube page. Also, don't forget our twice daily market podcasts, which are free and can be found wherever you find your favorite podcast, whether it's Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, or Podbean. You can also find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, for Dustin Huffman and Riley Smith, I'm Mark Magnuson. We thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.
As you can see here from the National Weather Service, we have a much warmer weather trend across the state today. Mostly sunny with above average temperatures. Temps range from the mid-70s to about 80. Tonight, warmer than recent evenings. Mostly clear skies. Lows overnight should range from the low 40s to mid-50s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and unseasonably warm. Highs will be in the upper 70s to low 80s. Looking at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, when we are going to warm up quite a bit, it's almost going to feel like a summer day. Cherokee will see sunny skies and a high of 80. Shenandoah, mostly sunny and a high around 80. Des Moines, sunny, even a little bit warmer, a high of 81. Albia, mostly sunny and also 81. Waterloo will look to be sunny with a high of 80. And Clinton, also sunny skies with a high of 79.